Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Golden talking with Sandy and Carolyn. Now, they have a wonderful and interesting case they're going to share about NARM, the North American Regulator for Midwives, and the story so far. So over to you guys.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good
Carolyn,
morning.
so would one of you like to say why you took the case and what you're hoping to get from this?
Well, a little background is, both Carolyn and I had a complaint filed with NARM against us. No bad outcomes, nothing very special. I had one filed by a student, and Carolyn had one filed by a consumer. And we were both denied access, really, to a process where we could defend ourselves. And we tried diligently to correct that process within NARM, and they were unwilling to correct their flaws, and we moved forward.
And I understand they've changed quite a lot since you started this case. Maybe your case has had something to do with the changes. Do you want to describe any of the changes, either in the board membership and in the document?
Well, their
I think
entire
Carolyn.
board has completely changed since we began this process. So you've got a completely different set of people looking at it now. But my understanding is that their policies have changed a lot too, and I know Carolyn knows a lot more about that.
Over to you, Carolyn.
Yeah, so they did post on their website, NARM, which is the North American Registry of Midwives, that the accountability, which has to do with what Sandy and I are involved in, they've made quite a few changes to that. And the gist of it, that from what I can see, is that they are more concerned about protecting the consumer, the clients, and their rights, and not really supporting the midwives that they credential, when you become a CPM. That's, the what I could see from reading it. And so
So if no one's protecting the midwife, who is? Or is it a case of protect ourselves and help each other?
yeah, they've shored that up, and the procedures that they are implementing are pretty much the same as when Sandy and I went through our complaints, where, they say there's due process where there wasn't any, and they said that there's um, accountability and hold on a second, I'm just losing my thought here.
We go
Um,
over to you
Yeah,
want
I'm just
any
trying to keep my
standard well.
composure here.
So for
Um,
me, ourselves, and you didn't get the opportunity to present the facts of the case. So somebody makes allegations, you could normally defend it with a rebuttal, but they didn't give you that opportunity and they took your license in one
yeah,
area.
that's what I was starting to say is the appeal process. They didn't have an appeal process, and they're saying that they do have one, but it's by this committee. And there's no cross-examination of, the person who's accusing you. It's done without them being involved. Um, and also, I took exception to the same thing that happened to me, where I was, um, suspended. And so they can suspend you and create chaos with your practice, because, if you've got a full practice with people, and they're saying you need to be supervised, um, that's not that's not
So was it
helping
the
you at all, because it was an impossible mandate they
yeah.
made on me to be, you have to be supervised for every single appointment with every client, and rather than find a sanction that was just something that I could do,
So that's where
something
the
that was
proportionality,
reasonable for me
yeah,
to do.
thank you. The key words are reasonable, fair, and proportionate. And to say you've got to be supervised by, well, who and how and when, and it was impossible, that's not proportionate. Is it fair? Is it reasonable? If it's not, then it's injustice. And that seems to be the case that you've had. So it's very good you're appealing it. Other
Yeah, they
countries
seem
also
to
have.
have a lot of power, that it's just there's no checks and balances for this power that they have. And I felt that was the feeling I got when I was, these two complaints that were launched against me is that, you will do what we tell you to do, and if you don't, then you can say goodbye to your CPM.
Thank you for that. And Sandy, anything to add? How's your experience?
You know what
What do you
really kind of
add?
shocks me, and disappoints me too, is people that have come to us in little whispers, going, "Oh, this happened to me, and this happened to me related to NARM," but they're terrified of NARM. They don't want to come forward because they've literally been threatened. And my process, I don't even know what the complaint was filed against me. They never would tell me, because they wanted me to sign a suppression order that said, you will never tell anybody what happens in these meetings. You will never tell anybody, what we decide to do or how we decide to do it. And if you do, we will take your credential away. Well, I'm going to a hearing that is supposed to be related to my credential. And if I tell what's going to happen in this meeting, then I lose my credential. And there's nothing fair or reasonable about that. But, anyone who's ever gone through a complaint has, through NARM, has been subjected to this same suppression gag order type confidentiality agreement is what they call it, but that's not really what it is. So I've been really shocked at how many people said I have a similar story, but were so afraid of NARM that they wouldn't step up.
Well done on you. It takes courage to act, but not acting is just being a victim. And so many of our colleagues all over the world, once they lose their professional and their personal reputation, they lose their income and they lose so many options for their work and their life. So well done on having the courage to take this action. And NARM have obviously taken some notice of this case. They've changed things. I understand you're just dealing with the process with the courts on finding a date and a time, and then you can go ahead with a hearing. But of course, the closer you get to a hearing, the more chance of having a settlement. I wonder, what would a good outcome look like to you first, Sandy?
I am a little encouraged that they've changed their policies because, that was important. But to me, I'm shocked that they changed the policies, but then didn't come back to us, and because this is a whole new board. So these aren't people who we dealt with in the beginning. There's no reason for them to have a vendetta against us. We don't even know them. So they've changed all the policies, but they've not come back and said, "Hey, look, we see that what the old board did was incorrect. We would like to repair it." They've not done that. They're just really denying that they should have to follow due process. And due process is a word mostly for government entities. They're saying that they're private, so they shouldn't have to deal with us, in a fair way because they can do whatever they want, is basically what they're saying. So I'm
Would,
encouraged that they've started the change, but I haven't seen them really implement it. So, there's a lot more to be done.
and would you welcome them being in direct contact and finding a agreement, maybe through mediation, and not going to court if you don't have to?
Oh, sure. Mediation is actually a part of our order, so we will have to do that, but we've not heard from them really at all. So,
Good. So it's open to that, and the ball's in their court really to engage. I hope they do. Maybe we'll keep this fairly quick and short, so people's attention span on YouTube these days is relatively short. Carolyn, anything else to add to this about the outcomes? How would you like to see things go?
I would like to see my CPM credential reinstated, and also I was a preceptor also, and that's been revoked as part of it. And also my bridge certificate, they feel that all three are being revoked because I'm not a CPM. So I'm hoping that the new board will, I mean, they're going through their attorneys and everything, but I'm hoping that they will want to create change in their organization and do the right thing for us in our case.
Yeah. One for all for one. Whatever they do in your case will affect everyone. So this is a great opportunity. I put out to people that I'm happy to receive information if anybody else has got a potential case they want to explore. Not about money in cases, it's all about power together. Midwives need to support midwives. And if you've had a similar situation with NARM and you want to help them get better and improve their processes, you're very welcome to take your own action and do things or simply write to NARM, but we won't all know about it unless we share information. So here we are sharing ours, and you're very welcome to contact me to share any stories around this subject. Okay, thank you both very much. Any last things to say that you need?
No, I do hope we hear from you guys, though. I think we are stronger together.
Yes. And you're not
The
alone.
federal lawsuit that we're involved in is, I feel there's a timeline for it, and I feel that it's getting to the point where, NARM's attorney they have to come forward and the court is asking for a settlement, to work together by, I think, February 27th. We're supposed to have, some agreement in writing to the court. So I'm really hoping that there'll be a really good outcome from that.
Well, nothing will come of nothing, and something will come from this something.